Niantic has released some details regarding next year's Pokemon GO Tour event, and it seems like the public sentiment around this event is that it is incredibly disappointing and it is lacking a lot of really great stuff for us to look forward to. However, I feel like a lot of this disappointment is kind of misplaced because this is just an initial announcement, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be saving some of the big ticket items for later on down the road. But regardless, in this video, I'm going to be going over the details that Niantic has released and speculate on what is actually in store for this major event. Alright, what's happening everyone? Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon Go video. I hope your week is going really well, and let's get right into it. Alright, so the first major event in Pokemon Go that is going to be happening in the year 2026 is, of course, Pokemon GO Tour. And this year, it looks like it's going to be themed around the Kalos region, and some of the things that they have initially announced, it's actually not that great compared to previous years. I think a lot of players are expecting this event to live up to the previous 2 years, which were incredibly hype. I mean, just to recap, 2024, we saw the debut of Origin Form Palkia and Origin Form Dialga, which were game changers. And then, of course, this year's Pokemon GO Tour event, we had the fusion forms for Kyurem. So I think a lot of players were hoping that they would do something major just like that, but with this initial announcement, it doesn't look like there's anything substantial. It's just a lot of different content that we've had already, as well as some shiny debuts, which are not necessarily that crazy. I think a lot of players are not necessarily batting an eye to some of the stuff that they said. However, I think just like previous years, some of the big announcements related to this event are going to be shared later on, and as we get closer to the event, we're actually going to see what is actually the big thing with this event. I think there are certain things that are definitely a possibility, and I'll talk about that later. But before we get into that, let's actually go over the details for this event. I'm actually going to show you my live reaction to finding out everything about Pokemon GO Tour 2026. Alright, let's do this. Let's take a look at Pokemon GO Tour 2026. And I'm actually going to be looking at the information for the global portion because I'm pretty sure the live in-person versions are going to be quite similar. But yeah, I mean, let's just take a look. If anything, I'll just share the dates. The Los Angeles one is going to be on February 20th until the 22nd. And then, of course, Tainan is, I believe, on the same weekend. Yeah, so it's going to be February 20th to the 22nd. So if you happen to be going to any of those, just keep those dates in mind, and tickets are on sale right now. Alright, so let's go over the details. So first and foremost, Pokemon GO Tour Kalos is going to be happening on February 28th, and it's going to go until March 1st, and it's going to be from 10 o'clock a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m. local time. And of course, there's going to be a special research ticket which you could purchase, and I'm sure it's going to give you some various bonuses. Alright, so what are the features? First and foremost, let's see here. Shiny Diancie is going to be making its Pokemon Go debut, and there it is. This is what it looks like. If you're interested in this, of course it does have a Mega Evolution. It's a pretty decent Pokemon in my opinion, but yeah, it is going to be available starting with this event, which is pretty cool. There's of course going to be costume Pikachus. They're going to be wearing the Calum's hat and Serena's hat. I wonder if these are new. I feel like we've seen these before. I could be wrong, but I swear we've already had a Serena Pikachu before. I don't know. I could be wrong. But regardless, new costume Pikachus, pretty common with these Go Tour events. That is something you could look forward to. We're also going to be seeing some shiny debuts for Kalos Pokemon, specifically with Klefki. It looks like Hawlucha as well as Honedge. Cool. Yeah, nothing really crazy over there. Alright, so in 1-star raids during this event, we're going to have Pikachu wearing Calum's hat, as well as Pikachu wearing Serena's hat, and also Honedge. Honedge is going to be the new shiny for this event, and you're going to be able to get it in raids. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. In 5-star raids, we are of course going to get Xerneas and Yveltal. Those are the legendaries from Pokemon X and Y. Yeah, that's kind of expected. Alright, so on Saturday, February 28th, okay, we're gonna see Mega Evolution raids. That kind of gives me a hint at what might be coming with this event. First and foremost, we got Mega Charizard X and Mega Charizard Y. Interesting. I feel like Oh, I guess Pokemon X and Y is when they introduced Mega Evolutions, so it makes sense that they would have a whole bunch of Megas in the game, because Pokemon X and Y was the first time we saw Pokemon like Mega Charizard and Mega Pidgeot, all that stuff. Yeah, and in particular, I think there's a couple of other Mega Evolutions we might see that are not yet announced. We'll get more into that later. So, on February 28th, on Saturday, February 28th, we're going to have Mega Charizard X and Mega Charizard Y from 10 o'clock a.m. till 11 o'clock a.m. From 11 to 12, we're going to get Mega Pidgeot. From 12 to 1, we're going to get Mega Garchomp. From 1 to 2, we're going to get Mega Gardevoir and Mega Gallade. Then we're going to have Mega Kangaskhan, then Mega Venusaur, as well as Mega Blastoise, then Mega Lucario, and then Mega Latias. So it looks like one of the things with this event is that if you're lacking in any of the Mega Evolution Pokedex entries, it looks like you're going to be able to encounter every single one of them. And that means if you have any holes in your Pokedex, this will be the event to fill those holes. But I do see some Mega Evolutions missing. Like, we don't have Mega Adino, and then we don't have Mega Camerupt. So yeah, that's kind of a thing. So yeah, if you're missing any of these Mega Evolutions, then this will be the event for you to get them. Alright, let's move on to the wild spawns. We are going to be getting different event-themed Pokemon in 3 unique habitats, and they're going to be rotating by the hour from 10 o'clock a.m. to 11 o'clock a.m., and then from 2 o'clock p.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. we're going to get the Central Village, and then from 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock, and then 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock we're going to get Mountain Manor, and then from 12 to 1, and then 4 to 5 we're going to get Coastal Laboratory. Then from 1 to 2 and then 5 to 6, I'm guessing all the habitat Pokemon are going to appear. Yep, that's literally what it's saying here. Alright, so this is the Pokemon that are going to be during the Central Village habitat. We're going to see Bulbasaur, Pidgey, Eevee, Trico, Routes, Chespin, Bunnelby, Fletchling, Skiddo, Natural Form Furfrou, Spritzy, Swirlix, Helioptile, Dedenne, as well as Noibat. And then in the Mountain Manor, we're going to see Charmander, Scyther, Eevee, Torchic, Absol, Fennekin, Litleo, Pancham, Natural Form Furfrou, Esper, Carbink, Phantump, Pumpkaboo, Bergmite, as well as Noibat. And then for the Coastal Laboratory, I'm guessing it's going to be water types, yep. Squirtle, Eevee, Mudkip, Froakie, Natural Form Furfrou, Inkay, Binacle, Skrelp, Clauncher, Tyron, Amara, Goomy, as well as Noibat. So the one thing I'm going to say right now is that when it comes to Kalos region Pokemon, there's not really a lot of standouts. I think a lot of players know that when it comes to the Kalos region, there were a lot of other things that made this region special, specifically Mega Evolutions. So unfortunately, when it comes to legendaries and when it comes to wild spawns, nothing really exciting is happening here. And I can see why some players were disappointed by this. Yeah, so let's move on to the eggs. So, in 2 kilometer eggs, we're going to see Larvitar, Bagon, Beldum, and Gible. And then in 5 kilometer eggs, wow, we're just going to see the Flabébés. I guess that's cool. I hope it's going to be like all the Flabébés. So if there's a particular region Flabébé you're missing, that you'll have an opportunity to get it through hatching eggs. I think that would be interesting, but I really do not know how it's going to work. There's no indication that it's going to be region locked, so I'm guessing it's going to be you could get whatever Flabébé. So if that is your thing, then yeah, maybe there is going to be a chance for you to get different colors of Flabébé through hatching eggs. I think in particular the blue one is the one that a lot of players want, because that is one that you do not often see. I don't know what region it's from, but I hardly ever see blue flower Flabébé. Anyway. 10 kilometer eggs, we're going to see Kangaskhan, Heracross, Hawlucha, as well as Klefki. Hawlucha is, of course, a regional Pokemon, so that is one that I'm sure a lot of players will want to get. What's very interesting is that within 10 kilometer eggs, it's all different regionals, but we have some regionals that are not actually from the Kalos region. And I think it's mainly because of the Mega Evolutions. I think it was the same with the wild spawns. Yeah, like you see, like within the Central Village habitat, you got a whole bunch of Kanto Pokemon in here. Again, I think it just comes down to Mega Evolutions. That is the main reason why. All right, in Incense, we're going to be getting unknowns. They're going to be spelling out the word Kalos, K-A-L-O-S. If you're missing any of these unknowns for the Platinum Medal, just keep in mind you will be able to get them from this event. Yeah, that's pretty straightforward. All right, so when it comes to research, ticket holder exclusive. All right, so this is what the ticket is going to give you. The mega conclusion to Pokemon GO Tour Kalos. It's time for a finale of mega proportions. Again, big emphasis on Mega Evolutions. I think this is going to be a big deal with this particular Go Tour event. It looks like we're going to be getting different encounters, and then of course it's going to be a follow-up from Tainan and Los Angeles, and it's going to involve Mega Evolutions. I'm guessing they're going to be introducing some sort of new Mega Evolution that we do not have in this announcement. That's my guess. Again, I'll talk more about that later. Here's some more ticket holder exclusives. So there's going to be a tremendous time to research, and in the Americas, I'm guessing this is all about Furfrou. Yeah, that's a little disappointing. I don't think a lot of players care about Furfrou that much. Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate. So in terms of in-game bonuses, this is what we're going to have. Mega Evolved Pokemon will receive a CP boost. That's cool. So your Mega Evolutions are going to deal more damage. It's going to allow you to do more raids. Pretty cool stuff. Half egg hatch distance for eggs placed in incubators during the event. You're going to be able to do up to 6 special trades per day during this event, and then trades are going to cost half Stardust. Yeah, the bonuses are not looking too crazy. I think this one is kind of interesting, mainly because when it comes to Mega Evolutions, one of the things that makes them stand out is just how powerful they can be. But for some of the raiding content that's going to be happening during this weekend, we're actually going to have even more powerful Mega Evolutions. But of course, the only raiding content that they announced so far is Yveltal and Xerneas, and I don't think those two are definitely going to excite a lot of players. It really comes down to what other things they have in store. In particular, maybe they'll have Zygarde as a raid boss. Who knows? Here's some more ticket holder exclusive stuff. These are bonuses that are going to be available. Oh, an increased shiny chance. I don't know if this was something that has been a part of Go Tour for quite some time. I think a lot of players have been asking for this. Like, if they're going to be buying the ticket, why don't they get a boosted shiny chance? I feel like that was actually missing. Maybe I'm wrong, but it didn't seem like this was a thing for the past couple of Go Fests or Go Tours, and it looks like they're bringing it back, so that's pretty cool. And then you're gonna get snapshot encounters. Yeah, I think this is going to be the major bonus for a lot of people. Yeah, so if you want to boost the shiny chance for any of those wild spawns, then make sure you get the ticket. There's going to be additional info, of course. There's going to be stuff related to routes. Again, the full babies in different regions. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to get the other colors. And yeah, that's pretty much all they have. It's kind of bare bones, and if we're just looking at the spawns and eggs and raids, it's not really that exciting. Alright, so if this was just the event, yeah, I could totally understand the disappointment. It is kind of bare bones. There is not too much going on with this event. There seems to be an emphasis on Mega Evolutions, which I find to be very interesting, mainly because when you think about it, Pokemon Legends ZA just came out, and that was a game set in the Kalos region, and it also featured a whole bunch of Mega Evolutions. In fact, they introduced a whole bunch of new Mega Evolutions, and I think that is actually going to be the major highlight for this event. Some people are already speculating that probably the biggest thing with Pokémon GO Tour 2026, which they haven't announced yet, is going to be the release of Mega Zygarde. That is one of the new Mega Evolutions from Pokemon Legends ZA, and I could totally see that being the major highlight for this event. Of course, Zygarde is a very interesting Pokemon in and of itself, mainly because you only get a few Zygarde in the game. It wasn't ever a raid boss, and then of course, you have to do so many things in order to get it to its perfect form. You have to walk all these routes, collect these Zygarde cells, all that stuff, and I think for a lot of players, they would definitely like to see more done with this one Pokemon. And I think the Go Tour event is definitely the best opportunity for them to do that. If they put a huge emphasis on Zygarde, I guarantee you, there's going to be a lot more hype around this event. So yeah, even though there's a lot of players who are very disappointed by this Go Tour announcement, I think it's not necessarily going to be the case later on when they announce some of the major things with this event. And the reason why I say that is because that is literally how it went with the past two Go Tours. Like, when they initially announced it, it always looks very boring. It always looks very disappointing. And then eventually when they announce the actual big thing with the event, that's when players get really hyped up about it. And of course, those events end up being very successful. I think even Go Tour this year, the one in 2025, with Black Kyurem and White Kyurem making their debut. It was such a hype event. It wasn't necessarily all the things that they announced initially, like they are doing now for 2026. It was all the stuff that they announced afterwards. And yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for this video. I really have nothing else to say. I really do think this is going to end up becoming a really solid event. And with this initial announcement, I don't think we have to worry. That's my personal take on it. But maybe you completely disagree. If that happens to be you, definitely share your reasons for thinking that in the comments down below. Do you feel like this event is actually going to be disappointing? Do you feel like this initial announcement is just enough for you to not care about Go Tour 2026? If that happens to be you, definitely share your thoughts and reasons in the comments. I would definitely like to know them. And yeah, let's have a great discussion. And thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if it's your first time here, and don't forget that notification bell so you know exactly when I upload videos. And real quick, let me give a shout out to every single one of my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support the Jinsula channel, the best way you could do that is going to be by joining my Patreon. And if you decide to become a paid Patreon member, I'm going to personally add you to my Pokemon Go friends list. So that means for stuff like remote raids, the friendship system, opening and sending gifts, all that good stuff. If you want to play Pokemon Go with me, make sure you go and check out my Patreon. I'll put a link to it in the description below. And if you want to support my channel in a completely different way, you could do so by following me on social media. My handle is @Jinsula. I'm on the platforms you see right now on the bottom of your screen. Make sure you go over there and give me a follow, and that'll be a huge help to my channel as well. And you'll have access to some exclusive content, and you'll be able to keep up with my daily life. And before I end this video, let me mention that I actually have an Etsy store. And if you want to get yourself something really cool that I have personally designed, and if you have a K-pop fan in your life, maybe you yourself is a fan of K-pop, maybe you could find something that will be a great gift for this coming holiday season. So yeah, make sure you go and check it out. I'll put a link to it in the description below. If you want to get yourself a really nice gift for a friend or a loved one, or for yourself, maybe you'll find it on my Etsy store. So yeah, make sure you go over there and check it out. And with all that said, that's going to be it for this video. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself today, and I'll catch you all later. 진솔아와 함께해